What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge for another Sooner Surge softball preseason award video. Again, reminder, if you're not a part of Sooner Surge Unlimited, make sure you do that. Well worth your time and $4.99 a month. Also, check out the FanStop, fanstop.com. They're going to have some great shirts each month. Get on the Shirt of the Month subscription. Use code SURGE for 10% off the first 3 months. Be some great shirts to wear during softball season. This award, Sydney Romero Batting Average Award, highest batting average for the 2024 season. The nominees, Rylie Boone, Tiara Jennings, and Jayda Coleman.
I'll start things off with Jayda Coleman. I think Jayda, she obviously is the leadoff hitter, right? So whenever you're in the leadoff hole, you need to find many ways to get on base. And she does exactly that. We've seen many times where she will start off the game with the double, with the single, with the walk, with even a home run. So, I think Coleman's array of the ability to get on the base so much is what truly helps her, I think, have so much success up at the plate. And whenever you talk about a tone setter to start the game, there's no one better to start off with than Jayda Coleman, because right whenever the first pitch goes, Jayda Coleman, she's bringing the energy. You see her up at the plate, right? She's there. She's alive. She's ready to go. So I think whenever you talk about just Jayda Coleman and her ability to get on base in so many ways, that's why, I think there's a great argument for why she's going to lead this team in average, and an argument to why maybe she could even lead the country in batting average as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned Coleman leading off. You got Tiara in the 2-hole, and then you got Rylie Boone in the 9-hole. They're back to back to back. Is what's interesting. But Sydney Romero, career batting average of 375. All these ones we're talking about. I mean, you could name this award after some of these players that are on the team currently. But Sydney Romero had a great career, 375 career, and her senior year, she was like 427 or something. But all these nominees are outstanding hitters. And we've talked about JT Gasso and what he's done with this group, and how you can just see how they get better and better and better every year. And Rylie Boone, to me, is very interesting, because when you talk about laying down bunts, to me, out of the three we've mentioned, she's the one that I think about the most that can get on with the bunt, or does it more often. I think, and her speed kills, okay? Her speed is outstanding. And last year in the 9-hole, she was basically a leadoff hitter down there in the 9-hole. Great average. Really looking forward to her having a huge year. And I'm going to mention another name that's not nominated, but I think it's an honorable mention, and that's Hannah Core. I think Hannah Core is going to have an outstanding year in average-wise too.
Yeah, I think the entire team is going to have a great batting average. You see it for the last 3+ years, the 3 years that they've won national championships in a row. The years before that, you look at the numbers and it's like, wow, this team is just loaded with bats. And I think you'll see that again this year. This is a very tough award to just pick 3 nominees and then to pick the winner, because the final nominee I'm going to talk about, Tiara Jennings, hasn't had a year where she's hit under 400 batting average. Like, it's just the amount of just pure talent on this team. It's unheard of. I mean, this is the reason that this team is going to be, they win their 4th, is arguably the greatest dynasty in all of sports, to win 4 straight national championships, in the way that they have done it, just how much they have transformed the sport. And you look at Tiara Jennings, freshman year, batted 462. That is not a typo. That is correct. Sophomore year, a little bit of a lower year in terms of batting average, still 401. And then last year, 415. And just the ability to be able to hit that high of a batting average, and also hit as many extra base hits as she does. She had 29 home runs her freshman year, or 27 home runs, 29 her sophomore. Also had 25 doubles her freshman year. Like, just, you see it throughout this team, just how much pure talent there is at the plate. And I think all 3 of these ladies are going to have a very high batting average.
Hey, real quick, Hunter, you mentioned her not being below 400, which is unbelievable. But, you look at Rylie Boone, and you want to talk about consistency. All these are so consistent in their batting average. But Rylie Boone, in the last 2 years, let me give you a stat. She's 408 2 years ago, batting average. Last year, 392. But in the last 2 years, she had the same amount of at-bats, 125. Okay? And so that tells you it's not much different from year to year. She's hitting the same average, about 400 if you average it out. 125 at-bats. 2 years ago, she had 7 strikeouts. 125 at-bats last year, she had 10 strikeouts. She's going to put the ball in play.
Yeah, the difference from last year was she had 2 less hits, 3 more strikeouts.
Yeah.
Like it's right there. That as consistent as you can get, and I think she's going to have a lot more at bats than just 125.
Yeah, and the other thing about you have to at least talk about before we announce the winner of this award, which is very hard to do, is Jayda Coleman and Rylie Boone do bat from the left side. So any ground ball that is put in play, and their speed, but all 3 of these ladies can fly. But the fact that they're hitting from the left side, I think, does give them just a slight advantage on maybe beating out some infield hits if there were some, which increases percentage. So there's that to take note of. But there you have the 3 nominees, Tiara Jennings, Rylie Boone, and Jayda Coleman. And the 2024 Sydney Romero batting average projection leader goes to Jayda Coleman, leadoff hitter for the Sooners this season. Thoughts, guys?
I think that's probably the right choice. And now I'm not going to say that there's a wrong choice, because this is the most, or it's not the most hard, but it's one of the most hard things to pick, because there's so many players on this team that can bat at such a high clip for a whole entire season. But, I don't think there's one wrong answer no matter who you were to pick. But I think whenever you just talk about Jayda Coleman, right? As I've said, she's someone that brings the energy. She's the leadoff hitter, right? She gets on base in so many different ways. And so that's why I think there's a fair argument for her. But, as I've said, there really is no wrong pick for this award.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there. Leadoff hitter. Jer mentioned it earlier as well. Beat out infield single. Has a career batting average of 425. Final season of college softball. I think the number is going to be even higher than that. I honestly, with how much is like ahead of this team at stake, whatever you want to call it, like the amount of history they are chasing and how well they have done in doing that, I think this might be Jayda Coleman's best year at the plate. And her freshman year, she hit 444, and I think it could be even up to that 450 mark, or maybe even higher. At that point, you're saying 1 and 2, but I mean, Jayda Coleman, you want to hit. That's the player you're going to count on the most, I think.
Yeah, and I think the winner, it's going to be percentage points. I mean, it's going to be tight.
All 3 very well can end up hitting over 400 again, which is just the fact we're talking about 444 and above 400 is insane. But there it is right there. Sydney Romero 2024 projected batting average award winner, Jayda Coleman. Again, drop who you think will be the team leader in batting average. And appreciate you watching the content as always. Till next time, Boomer.